What is up, Nintendo Land? Welcome to Nintendo Open Air Podcast. The wind echoes a legend. Well, not a legend so much, but a rumor. The hero of Hyrule may be returning to the Switch, and according to some, it will be sooner than we think. What will this new legend be? A remastered version of a previous title? A terrifying spin-off? Or something completely new altogether? It seems only time will truly tell, but we certainly have a strong hint. Tonight, we'll be taking a look at all the latest Zelda buzz as we are looking at some news from, and we'll also be looking at some news from Nintendo's favorite holiday. So sit back and let those leftovers digest and join in as we theorize as to why our Zelda senses are suddenly tingling. Alright, we'll start tonight where the rumor started. And oddly enough, it was on another podcast. Of course, you don't watch any other podcasts, you only watch us, I hope. No, just teasing. So, Game Informer editor Imran Khan via their podcast said, the next Zelda will probably be sooner than we think. That was his quote. And of course, thankfully, someone there immediately thought the same thing that I do, or at least that I fear. Is it by the same people who did Triforce Heroes, and will it be co-op play? And thankfully he responded, not exactly.
I'm so glad someone asked him that.
No, that should have been a no, not a not exactly.
Yeah, I would
more
feel
like
better with the
Kirby's Epic Fighters or something, or whatever that is on 3DS.
I don't know, wasn't the Zelda franchise one of the ones you were saying would make a good MMO?
But that's Triforce Heroes is not an MMO.
No, but it is multiplayer and it is online.
That's true.
Yeah, well, they proved that can be terrible as well.
That is true.
Yeah, I don't think they'd do anything that ambitious without many years of build-up.
No, it would probably be a smaller project.
Yeah.
I'm saying either a port, or if they were to whip something new out, it would be based in the Breath of the Wild engine, which I would be fine with.
I keep thinking back to the 3DS and how we kind of got these mainline Zelda type title, and then we get something on the 3DS like A Link Between Worlds. Do you think we could see something in that universe come to the Switch?
I would love Nintendo to do that with so many other titles. To do, 3DS type-ish games where it's not necessarily the top of the line blockbuster graphical stuff. It's just a solid game in an older style.
Like the Metroid would have been on the Switch. I mean, again, I like the 3D and stuff, but I think it would have been wise of them to port it to the Switch. I think it would have sold very well.
Yeah, I still think it would.
Yeah.
Have they ported any 3DS games to the Switch yet?
There's been some dual releases.
Well, yeah, like Sushi Strikers was a dual release.
Hyrule Warriors and Captain Toad are available on both, but they came out elsewhere first, yeah.
I don't know if there's ever been anything 3DS exclusive that's hit. But
No, they seem to be focusing on Wii U titles more so than the 3DS.
yeah.
Certainly lesser played.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's changing too, because you've heard rumors of things like the Metroid Prime trilogy, which wasn't strictly speaking a Wii U title, coming over as a enhanced port or maybe an HD version for the Switch. People thinking that'll happen before the Metroid Prime 4 lands. They'll bring the trilogy over, so people who missed it will get a chance to catch up on the story, I guess.
Yeah.
It was kind of a rare one, right? Wasn't that? It was one of those ones that was getting a lot of money at GameStop, and then they put it out on the Wii U Virtual Console. It was a big deal, so I could see them doing that. Yeah, I have no desire to buy it again. I don't know, an HD remake. Like I played the first one mostly. I never really played the second and third. They did a nice HD remake. I might consider at least playing the third one again.
Well, before we wander off from Zelda altogether, the hint that we did get, or at least an interesting coincidence, is during a concert at Nintendo Live, which is an event in Japan. The series director, Eiji Aonuma, went on stage and said, I quote, "I know what you're waiting for, Skyward Sword for Switch, right?" So, is that a hint? You think that's this new Zelda title?
Yeah, once again, that would be a game that wasn't a Wii U port, even if it is a remake. It's, an original Wii title. I mean, it makes sense in some respects. They've redone a lot of the previous ones. This one requires motion controls, and the Switch has that, at least as an option. So,
And people
sure.
piped up about it when they launched it on the Virtual Console that it wasn't an HD, that they should have done an HD remake of that one.
Yeah.
I do think that's an interesting point that now we have something similar to the Wiimote and Nunchuck to play games with now with the two Joy-Con. So if it is indeed coming, it might be the first of many.
I would expect it to use Splatoon-esque motion controls for a pro controller and whatever, and also have basically the same old school Wiimote and Nunchuck functionality with two Joy-Cons.
I would think that basically you could play it docked as original, but then they'd have to have some sort of alternate control scheme for when it was in handheld mode. And I don't see how the sort of precise angle sword swinging you need to do to beat the bad guys would translate well to that. You'd have to, move one of the sticks diagonally and press the button, or something like that to get the same sort of effect.
Well, ARMS even has stuff where you can like curve punches and stuff with a Joy-Con.
That's true.
But does anyone want to play a motion-controlled Skyward Sword again?
No.
Of course I do.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. But,
Yeah, Skyward Sword was a good one. It took them the entire lifetime of the console, but they finally got the motion controls right.
Yeah.
that makes you think, will the Switch be able to transition from, A+ motion controls, or will it be sort of a reset going to Joy-Con?
Yeah.
Good question.
See, the game was good in a lot of respects, and I enjoyed a lot of it. I never finished it. I got bogged down. And I think that's just because it was too confined and started to get repetitive in some elements.
Oh yeah, it's the same Zelda game for the past, like it was 5 Zelda games in a row that were basically the same general engine and general game, and after an open world game, you really can't go back to those.
I will say, looking back at that Zelda title, I do remember one thing that I strongly disliked, and that was the flying mechanics.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think I remember talking to Max about it. In particular, there's a certain flying challenges. It was like something simple but incredibly complicated to pull off on the Wii.
Just trying to figure out how to fly. The game doesn't really teach you
Yeah.
how to fly. I had to look up online, and I had a hard time finding out instructions on how to actually fly. That's the whole game.
There's a section of that right in the introduction tutorial section right before you get off of your hometown Skyloft there at the beginning, where you have to race around and catch the other birds or something, which I suppose is there to teach you, but at the same time, I personally didn't have much difficulty learning the flying mechanics, at least the basics, but I didn't get into a lot of the advanced, aerial combat either.
It was the
I had no
later
real issues, but
It was the later
ahead.
challenges that were frustrating when you had to go. I believe they were timed or flying through rings or something like that, and it was very frustrating.
Yeah.
I think it's used for one of the boss fights later on too, or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though I did enjoy this game, and I can still remember in my mind where I was at and everything when I beat it, and the accomplishment and the ending and everything, I don't care to redo it. I don't think it might be fun to play on a demo station. But
It's one that I can see getting some use in my household, but more by other people than by myself. Basically, the kids would probably like poking around with certain elements of it. As I recall, they quite enjoyed the little bathroom that they put into Skyloft Academy, things like that. There's lots of little side things that are fun to play with, but the actual quest itself um, is a little bit long and constrained, I find.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, well, rolling on. Another topic we're
I've
coming
never
into.
played any Zeldas. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, does this interest you to pick it up
Not
now that
really.
you've played?
Not really. I mean, I've tried going back to like Ocarina, and still can't get into it. Like Breath of the Wild just did something right. I've given the Zelda franchise a fair shake, and it's not for me as a whole. And I don't even know if they did another one in the Breath of the Wild vein, like if they made it like a Majora's Mask to Ocarina, in the same engine type thing. I don't know if it would really depend, because I think I don't know if I would like dungeons, but I know everybody missed them in Breath of the Wild, or at least said they did.
Yeah, the one thing I could see them doing with it would be a remake of the original game, right? The original map, the original everything.
Oh yeah, like a Metroid Zero mission kind of thing.
Yeah, but in the open world style with the same basic, modernized versions, 3D versions of the original dungeons with, enough Easter eggs and similarities that makes it feel like the same dungeon, even though obviously it's going to be a totally new thing.
Yeah.
Right, the same layout, the same monsters. If they do it right, it could be really awesome.
I was interested to see that when they were picking their character models for the new Smash game that's upcoming, they went back to A Link Between Worlds for the character model for Zelda. That game did have a lot of popularity, and when it was released, it won some awards and was well praised, and then quickly got forgotten, I think.
Well, because that's the kind of game it was. It was short. It was relatively easy. I mean, it was great. It was fun, but it was not particularly challenging and not particularly long. And so it was honestly, it's the kind of game that Mo's saying he wants on the Switch, right? Those kind of mid-size, good quality Nintendo games, but not a huge production, just a good little game that you play through, enjoy, and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, the 3DS had so many Pushmo, Box Boy. It's like
Dylan's Rolling Western.
Yeah, for some people. But yeah, I mean, those aren't Sushi Striker's the closest I think they've come to like one of those games, and that one just didn't interest me at all.
Yeah.
Would that be a more interesting Switch port than Skyward Sword?
What?
Sushi Striker?
Oh, no, A Link Between Worlds.
Oh.
To me, it would be, I think.
Maybe, especially if they hit the price right. Since those games are like $20 on 3DS, if they put it out for $20 on Switch, I think it'd sell like gangbusters.
Yeah, it was.
I think, and it was so crazily good.
Wasn't there also some sort of copyright thing that came out recently for? Was it Spirit Tracks or the other one? The other DS one they were thinking for mobile.
Yeah, that was Spirit Tracks mobile.
It was Spirit Tracks, yeah.
Touch screen controls. Those are the two I honestly never played. I always wanted to try Phantom Hourglass, but I never really found a copy. And Spirit Tracks never interested me particularly. But
They were in that same kind of vein of smaller, separate, very much handheld Zeldas. That just not as good as A Link Between Worlds. I think A Link Between Worlds really nailed that formula. So.
Yeah, people love that. I don't know. I don't think everything on. I mean, I think Switch needs to get the games going more than anything. And one way to do that is, take some of their content. It doesn't hurt. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to just throw it up there and see what sticks. I don't think it costs, that much. I mean, you don't have to port everything in the world, but the big blockbuster games, I think people would even play like Super Mario 3D Land. Of course, I guess some of those games, it would be better to put a new coat of paint on them and at least make them look a little nicer.
It'd just have to be HD.
But, yeah.
It'd just have to be HD. But yeah, I mean, I guess, in the case of 3D Land, you'd really just go with 3D World. At most, at best, you'd give 3D Land as like a throw-in, like a DLC bonus or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Animal Crossing New Leaf HD.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully that's not what we get, but I get Mo's point. It's just like, guys, you need something. Start porting over what you got. Port over all the Wii U crap you got. Port over all the 3DS crap you got, because what else is there?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's a dangerous tactic for Nintendo, because I feel like if they start doing that they'll go too far with it, and then we'll just get tons of it on there, and maybe it'll take away their focus from other big titles, because they think, oh, they want ports now.
Well, in their first year, I think they just had the one port in the Mario Kart 8 with enhancements. In their next year, they had about 5 different ports. And they've already announced another one coming up now, I think, in the new Super Mario Brothers for next year. So
yeah, but they're all second string, right? None of those are. Were there any like first line ports this year, aside from Smash?
Any what?
Like top tier. I consider
Ports?
Smash, Mario Kart,
I mean, Donkey
Mario
Kong
Zelda.
Country, Tropical Freeze is
That's
probably
not
top tier.
No,
No,
that's
among platformers, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like among a 2D platformer, it might be considered. Is Bayonetta considered top tier among at least certain people?
It's kind of more niche, don't you think?
It is a little more niche, but it's closer to a AAA than anything else we got, so I'll count it.
Yeah.
But that's it, really. Dark Souls finally came out. Wolfenstein finally came out. Were those the only two? Dark Souls did finally come out, didn't it?
Diablo 3.
Yeah. Diablo 3.
Diablo 3's out?
Yeah.
They got the bundle out
with its own Switch.
Civilization 6 is out too. I don't know if that's a big one or not.
That's a pretty big one, yeah.
Okay. There's a big title. I was thinking Nintendo's ports specifically, but no. I mean, but again, that's stuff you can count on one or two hands, is not what the other guys are getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other ones were like Hyrule Warriors and Captain Toad, which, they're probably fine games, but they're not top tier.
No, definitely not. Captain Toad's great, and Captain Toad porting to the 3DS was genius, and actually to the Switch might not be so bad. But it's.
I did play the demo on both Switch and 3DS. I had it on Wii U.
I didn't pay attention to cost. How much was Captain Toad on Wii U? Was it 40?
I thought it was 30.
Might have been 30.
Yeah, it was a lower price point, I know.
But it was 40 on 3DS.
40 on 3DS. I'm pretty sure it was 30 on Wii U.
I think you are right. This whole $40 3DS game thing.
Yeah, it used to be like the big ones were 35 and the cheap ones were 30.
They gotta get that money somehow. I guess. Well, let's see. I'm looking through Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on Nintendo Switch is $30.
But
Oh,
it's 40 on 3DS?
oh. Well, it's 40 on 3DS, but it looks like it might be on sale. And I'm looking on Amazon right now, and it's showing $29.99, but it's got $39.99 crossed out. So I don't know if it's just on sale right now. It's
Yeah, still probably the
GameStop
sales
stocks
from
it at
this week.
$40,
Yeah.
and Best Buy stocks it at $40. So yeah, it's more the 3DS version more expensive than the Switch version. Hmm. Ready for adventure.
Yeah, it's a really great game. If you haven't played it and you like puzzles, and especially if you like Toad, that's your jam right there.
Yeah. Actually, the Switch one at Best Buy is 40 as well. So maybe this is just on sale for the holidays. But whatever. Yeah, I bought it on 3DS, or I mean on not 3DS, on Wii U,
Same.
and like I played it a little bit, but I couldn't really get like I liked the concept, but after I finished like the first, it's like separated into like books. After I finished the first book, I was just like, I really don't want to do this anymore. But my daughter's kind of fascinated with the demo.
I kind of know what I did finish the game on Wii U, but it did get kind of stale after a while.
Tedious, yeah.
My kids have also really liked the demo and have started asking questions about the full game, so who knows one day. But yeah, I don't know. It is a neat idea.
Yeah, and the levels in 3D World were great. Like, you know, if you played 3D World where Captain Toad originated, it was like really cool. But I knew that they were going to make its own game out of it.
But a whole game of it was, to me, I mean, I played a fair amount of it, but it was a little too much. Like, they were awesome when they were little snippets in between levels, but when it was a whole game of it, I don't know, it kind of got a little old.
Yeah.
It's more of one of those things you can play for a while, go away, and come back to. It would make
Kind of, but I don't know. It's like Pushmo I really liked, and that kept me going. Like, I like puzzle stuff. But this was just like, oh, I'm spinning the camera. They hid something over here. Everything's in plain sight.
the 3D box thing was a little gimmicky occasionally.
Yeah.
Where they'd hide stuff in a certain spot or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. It was still cute, but it wasn't enough to. Obviously, I wasn't going to double dip.
Speaking of dipping in general, did anybody? There was a ton of stuff this week on sale on the eShop. Did anybody pick anything up?
I
I thought
did.
it was. Was it all week?
It's
Tomorrow's
well,
the last
I think it's over by the time this. Well,
28th.
if you're listening to the pre-recorded version, you've probably missed out. But yeah, but like there's 200 games on sale in the Switch eShop.
Yeah, I should browse it.
And like 20 or 30 on 3DS.
I've seen a few people pick up the Mario and Rabbids, but I found a better physical deal on that one. The only one that digitally I grabbed was the Lego Worlds. Was on for $9, and the kids had been asking about that one over the summer because they saw it on a cousin's machine. So I figured it would be worth trying at that price.
Yeah, I looked at that
that.
one. I think it's probably like I don't really have interest in it, and I thought maybe my daughter would. Like she likes more than anything going into Fortnite's playground and just building little houses and stuff. And I'm like trying to teach her how to like edit doors and whatnot. So, but I still think something like that's probably too complex for her. And Lego City Undercover's on sale too, which is another one that's tempting because I know it's kid friendly and open world exploring kind of thing. And I've heard good things from that.
For how much?
Played it $8 or $9 maybe.
Oh no! Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to browse this.
Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff on sale. The Messenger's on sale, which I've been tempted. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger or not, maybe. There's a ton of decent stuff. I think Jason picked something up.
No, actually, I didn't.
You didn't?
Not that I... No.
Is that a demo?
I've downloaded a bunch of demos. I did pick up, unrelated to Nintendo, I did pick up a new SD card, so I downloaded some of the larger demos that I haven't played.
Hey, that's not unrelated to Nintendo.
I guess it is related to. It's
What'd you
in
pick
my
it up
Switch.
for? There you
I
go.
picked it up for the Switch, so yeah. But
Oh.
it wasn't a Nintendo specific sell, is what I was getting at.
I thought you had bought that Valkyria Chronicles. So no.
No.
I don't know if
Did
they're
play-
still on sale, but I'd seen a couple of the indie games that were down to like $1 or something last week. I don't know if those are still on or not, but there's a few things on there that if you're just looking for something to try out. And then there's some of the bigger titles too. Like honestly, I was impressed to see Skyrim on for half price, and I considered it again.
All the
but
Bethesda
again,
stuff. Yeah, like
Exactly,
Wolfenstein's
yeah.
30, Doom's 30.
Yeah.
Pick up Doomsy. So
Why does-
You
play
know, if Bethesda had gotten Doom working on my PC, I would be more inclined to give them money. But
hey, if it's
because
not working on
they-
your PC, you should try it on Switch.
because they blew me off when their support just kind of said, "Oh, talk to Microsoft." It's like, fuck you. So I'm kind of pissed at them right now.
You did pick up something physically, right? See?
But otherwise, I would. Did I pick up something? What, Starlink? Yeah,
There you go.
just
Doom with
for the
motion
show.
controls, though.
I know it's tempting, man. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, honestly, if it were 20, I probably would.
It's
And if I could
15
pick
on
up
every
my-
other system.
And if I could pick up my save where I left off, yeah, I know. See, probably 10 some places. See, that's what makes right that's what kind of made that Black Friday deal for the PS4 so attractive. Is even stuff that we have on the Switch, like
Yeah.
given the option, I'll pay $10 or $15, for Doom on the PS4 and get 60 frames a second.
Right.
Of course, there's obviously the $200 barrier to entry, but right, it's a
Hey,
cheap,
that's a 2DS. Or a
Yeah.
3DS. A new
Yeah.
2DS XL almost.
yeah, it's really, I mean, price comparisons, it is a hell of a deal. It's tempting because it's like, unfortunately, the Switch is not a primary console.
Yeah, I was very tempted to think about getting a PlayStation while they were on a deal. It's frustrating sometimes being a Switch owner, and I know anyone that has a Switch has that feeling when they want to play something, but they can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes I look at those deals though, and I know with the Xboxes, there's all these different variations with different letters and different memory, and so which version of the PlayStation 4 is this? Is this like a basic model, or is this?
No, it had like
Slim.
a terabyte hard drive. Yeah, it was.
It's way more than a Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
not. I was just saying ranked among PlayStation's line of PlayStation
Well,
4s.
Given that it's the Black Friday sweet deal, it's probably not a very high end one. But I mean,
It's $60 off retail.
and the specs are the same on all of them. It's just bigger hard drive,
Yeah.
as far as I understand.
And they all play PlayStation 4 games, so.
yeah.
And
Well, I mean,
if
it's
you're
not like-
asking if it's the
But-
Pro or the base, obviously it's not the Pro,
It's Slim. It's the one called Slim.
which
Pretty
is
sure.
which is just the original PS4 in a new case, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a
If you were gonna-
terabyte is huge.
Yeah.
But then you got to get the $60 a year online service if you want to play online.
I
Is
don't
it
have
$60 a year for that these days?
Yeah, I think Xbox and PlayStation are both $60 a year.
I saw it on sale for $40 this past weekend.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah,
on sale several places.
So
Yeah,
see,
and that's-
Nintendo Switch, a third of the price, a third of the service.
I would say less than a third of the less than a third of the service. Would you agree? A third of the price and like
Yeah.
a tenth
Yeah, I
of the
mean, I
service.
guess.
Yeah.
Didn't have voice chat. Well, it's funny, like Xbox cloud saves on every game is just standard. You don't even have to buy their online for that. You just get cloud saves. You know, I don't know that PlayStation does that, or if they offer it, maybe it's part of
What?
their online.
You don't have to have an Xbox Live
Mm-mm.
subscription for
They
that?
just give you cloud saves for all your games,
Huh.
including Splatoon 2.
If that was on.
Just seeing if anyone was paying attention.
We're
But
all
yeah.
listening.
It's it's tough out there for Nintendo. Lately, I've been really wanting to watch. Now that I've got YouTube, it's made me want to watch Netflix even more. Because like with the kid, we'll go back and forth, and I'll load up with that Movies Anywhere thing. You know, I can get on Amazon or whatever and watch her Disney movies, and then it's like, oh, now we'll skip over to Netflix and watch one of her other shows there, and I just kind of interchangeably switch between the two. It's like I wish I could do that for myself on the Switch.
Yeah,
Between
that's
stuff, you know.
the only thing I can think of is Nintendo really pissed the other streaming services off with that Hulu exclusivity deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
maybe they'll start flowing. I felt like YouTube coming was a good thing. There's no reason for a retailer not to want to put their thing on there. So who knows? There's something weird going on. I thought
I mean,
for
we
sure
don't-
when YouTube happened, everything else would just flow out.
Don't even have a browser yet.
Yeah.
Or, well, the one we do is awful. Because I have messed around in the Switch's browser a little bit, because you can get into it by going to like link your Facebook, and then you can actually just browse Facebook inside the Switch's thing, and it's just like, you know how the keyboard on the Switch kind of seems like it's slow or delayed, or there's something's not user friendly
Yeah.
about it. It's the same with web, like searching web pages. Like it seems like they're really slow, and like you click on something and it doesn't seem to take the click, and you have to click again. It's like, I don't know if they intentionally do that because it's, or they just didn't care because it's not really a web browser right now. Like I think they need to do something about their keyboard. That's something that nobody bitches about, really. In fact, I've never seen anybody other than when I've mentioned it and one of you guys said, yeah, but I've never seen anyone just outright be like, the keyboard on this thing is a piece of shit. But it really is.
I really don't like the keyboard when you're playing docked, but in handheld, I find it not so bad because you can just use the touch screen. And
Well, even with the
makes it
touchscreen
easier.
though, I still have trouble.
It's awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get job done, but it's like the Wii U was awesome. Like I loved the keyboard on that. I didn't realize how good that. I've never had a digital keyboard that was a piece of shit. I've never been like, man, it's really hard to type on this digital keyboard. It's always just been, I've taken it for granted, I guess, that we had solved this problem years ago. But I guess not.
And it's emphasized too because you have to go through this keyboard to post anything to Twitter or to share anything from your games.
Yeah.
So you're forced to use it.
And I think I'm faster in docked mode when I'm using the Pro controller, just the D-pad to navigate, than I am trying to type. But whenever I try to type, it's like, and I don't know if it's just like the sound of the click isn't in sync with my button touches or like what.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
it's something like that. You know, maybe the keyboard's fine and it's just I need to turn down the volume or something.
No, it lags too. It's like you'll press the button and it'll put it up twice or it won't register at all. I've got to where I lean on the suggestions quite frequently.
Yeah.
It's like, I just
Oh,
hope
yeah.
this word is in
But
suggestions.
then even those are wonky though, because then you have to like hit space, and then sometimes when you hit space, it automatically picks the next suggestion,
Oh,
and then you got to backspace that. You know what I mean?
yep.
The word you want isn't suggested.
Yeah. Where's our firmware for general stability and hardware improvement or whatever that just magically fixes that keyboard? That'd be something. I think if they ever do put out a browser, that'll be something they'll have to address. But I think most people don't think about it because they probably don't use it. You're only really going to run into it when you're typing into a game, which rarely happens, or when you're posting to Twitter, which we do all the time.
All right. Well, since we went ahead and jumped ahead to some deals, we might as well talk about Black Friday. And before we get to Black Friday, we've got to mention Pokemon's first week of sales. Pokemon Let's Go is what I'm talking about. So, for their first week of sales, they have sold 3 million units worldwide. That's quite a lot. And it says it's the best week one Switch sales ever. So, how it connects to Black Friday is according to Adobe Insights, it's the number 4 bestseller on Black Friday items, behind laptops, LOL Surprise, whatever that is, and fingerlings.
Oh, wow, the LOL. The LOL Surprise is one of those giant mystery egg things that you buy for. Some of those are up to $70 or $80 now. It's just a plastic egg, basically, and you have no idea what's inside. That's the LOL Surprise. You just paid $80 for a bunch of plastic crap, and you don't even know what it is until your kid opens it. So there you go. Lol.
So in 1 week, it jumped past ARMS 1-2 Switch and the rest into the 5th best-selling Switch game to date, basically.
Yeah. And do they count them as one title, I guess? Probably.
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah.
And what I've seen on numbers of that is like, what, 55-45 in favor of Pikachu?
Yeah, when I know our Best Buy didn't have any Pikachu out on the shelf, but there was one Eevee left, and then I found this weird cage in their video game system that had a whole bunch of extra copies. It was all just disheveled. There was all kinds of Switch games and a couple 3DS games that were in there that were just apparently they're overstock. But yeah, I'm trying to think the only other thing I could think of that would have had a shot would have been like Odyssey.
Yeah.
But also it's best-selling game, but also the install base on the Switch is a lot higher than it would have been, a year ago. Although I don't know, they certainly sold 3 million last year though. And I'm sure that a lot of those people bought Odyssey. I guess they just didn't buy it right away. I can't imagine that being true.
We expecting Smash to beat that opening week?
I don't know, man. The power of Pokemon is somewhat of an anomaly in the gaming world.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You don't see people walking around playing Super Mario Run. You see people playing Pokemon Go or talking about Pokemon. Not so much about what's the latest Mario game.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think I don't think Smash would do even as well as like a Mario Kart game. I wouldn't think. I think Mario Kart has a much wider appeal than.
I'm certain Mario Kart is better than Smash. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, they've hyped it. I know the amiibos are coming and all that stuff. I feel like I don't feel like there's anything they can do to save the amiibo game. I think amiibo is just done.
Yeah.
The excitement is over.
Outside of the niche collectible market.
Right. I mean, they can try. I'm sure at some point they're going to put out a game for amiibos, you would think. But maybe they've moved on to cardboard now.
It seems like they moved on from amiibo. They were late to the Toys to Life game when amiibo first came out. You know what I mean? They basically killed that genre. And then they never did anything good with them as far as content, really. Right? They never really figured out what to do with amiibo.
Yeah, I mean, the genre was really dead, and Nintendo reinvigorated it or brought it back from the dead for a short time.
Yeah, kind of a last gasp.
But shouldn't we have Labo amiibo? Tiny little
You would.
cardboard.
Just takes a little sticker.
Just make it out of the cereal box.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can make your own custom delicious amiibo. Yeah, we'll see.
Sounds
I'm
like-
kind of surprised that we haven't seen more on Labo either.
Yeah, I think they're really just letting that sit back in the background and just going to slide that out ever so often. I don't know.
I thought they'd have more Labo sets by now. At least 6.
They should have done a bunch of small ones with a digital download.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have sold better.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of them are integrated with each other, like the fishing rod works with the piano for certain things. I could have seen them taking that first kit and breaking it into, a fishing rod, piano, and a car, and another one with the house, the motorcycle, and a car, or something like that. So 2 sort of half-size sets. But
Yeah.
I don't
Well, I
think
think they could have
individual
sold
kits would have
individual.
done the best.
They could have done I would, and Jason probably too might have been in. Well, maybe not. Jason was the real Labo hater of the group. If it was
Hey,
like
now, wait a minute.
$20 gets you a Labo bird and a download code for the Labo bird game, you might be curious enough to pick it up at that low of a price point, or maybe 15 or 10 or whatever.
If they were $20, I would buy a single kit just to try it.
Just wait.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's their demonstration for how the technology can be used, though, and you kind of can't get all that in one kit. It needs to be able to attack things from a couple of different angles. Even the third one that they came out with 3 different vehicles, the software is all designed about using the 3 in conjunction. Putting them together to accomplish your goals and whatnot.
But that doesn't preclude them from necessarily doing a la carte stuff in addition, right? You put
No,
out
they
the big
could.
sets and then the smaller a la carte stuff, the same way Lego does, right? If you're not going to buy your kid the giant Lego set, you buy him the little $5 or $10 little Lego car kit or something, right? I think they should have done the same thing with that, where it's like, okay, we've got the big, massive Labo sets, but then there's a few of these little mini sets that you can pick up as well to kind of just get your feet wet.
Or you pick this one up, and if you like it, it's also compatible. And if you buy this one too, they do something together.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
The Labo
you saying
Voltron.
like selling the piano and the fishing rod separate, right? Wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea because they integrate together. But then the software, I know it was like a software package deal kind of. But making a few a la carte ones, that you could download or whatever I think that would have been smart.
Like demo units almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or done a My Nintendo promotion where you trade in some points and you get some, or something. They should have. I think the demonstration of it would have been a lot more effective than just you either buy it for $60 or you don't.
Yeah.
60,
Well, whatever it was, 70, 80.
70 or 80.
Yeah. They should have just done something to get it in people's hands.
Yeah, I could have seen something with, take the most basic one, the car. You only need 1 sheet to distribute. They could have done, if they still did any physical distributions through Club Nintendo, My Nintendo, whatever they're calling it now, it wouldn't have been too hard to get 1 sheet out and then a little software pack to go with it that you could just download for points.
Put the download code on the back of the sheet of cardboard.
Yeah.
$5. Just have a pallet of them sitting out. I'd go $5 for the car.
Yeah, I would too.
I wouldn't even mind if they made something separate.
But what's interesting about the car is it's an interesting little piece of tech to put together and play around with. But in terms of the software, you're basically just making a remote control. There's nothing to it, so you get bored of it pretty quick, I find, compared to the other ones where there's a little bit more meat to them and more to explore.
They
There's
could find
more-
something in between the car and the more complicated things, not still small and not as complicated, just on its own with its own little game.
Yeah. More of just a proof of concept, I was thinking. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a little demo costs $5-10.
So I think Barry just wrote the tagline for that. There's more to explore with Nintendo Labo.
I think I've heard that slogan somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe Reggie has said it. That's how you know you're in deep with Nintendo, is when you start quoting Reggie without realizing it.
But Pokemon's doing great.
Yeah. And to kind of follow up on the question there, will Smash surpass Pokemon? We did find out that according to Nintendo of America, that Smash Ultimate is now the most pre-ordered Switch title. And of course, the most pre-ordered Smash title ever.
Well, pre-orders were not as much of a thing in generations past, even on the Wii. And there's just a lot more Switches in hands than there ever were Wii U's at this point. So,
does that include all the bundles they've been selling that come with a download code for
I'm sure
Smash that can't be used yet?
Certainly.
Yeah, I bet it does. Which I think is such a weird thing from a consumer standpoint of having a Smash bundle available in a store that you can buy, and then I'm sure somebody, at least one guy, has gotten it home. But like, what? I can't download this until December 7th? Like,
oh, I'm sure.
That seems to be the new thing with them, and I don't understand why people are adhering to it. And I think it's just because of Smash's popularity. They want you to buy everything ahead of time. Buy the bundle, just don't have the game. Pre-order these games before they have a firm release date.
Buy the DLC before it's got
pre-purchase all the DLC, but purchase the DLC with the game, like that with Zelda, right?
Yeah.
Here, you can buy the game and then just pay us an extra $20 and we'll give you something good later. Like, that's bizarre and really pushing customer goodwill.
We need the money now.
Here, give us $20 for our online service and get nothing.
Yeah. Well, Gradius.
I'm talking about getting nothing. So this has been confirmed recently in Europe and North America. There has not been any distributed copies of Smash for review. So all of the reviewers out there don't yet have their copy when they normally have it weeks in advance. So they can write up their full reviews and spend time with it before it launches. So we don't know if it's because everything's being leaked lately or what, but Nintendo has not communicated that.
I think that's probably why, is every time, because that's screwed them with, probably Pokemon and other games that it gets out there, and they don't know all of these people that they're sending games to, and eventually one of them puts up some footage somewhere online and spoils some story bits that they were hoping would be saved. I forget what it was in reference to. Sakurai had said something specifically that he didn't put into this. Was it like a story mode or something? Or there was something that he specifically didn't put into this game because he said people would just spoil it online anyway. So I didn't even bother including that mode. So, I mean, that is something that Nintendo especially is very conscious about.
Yeah.
And then we've had stuff in the past too where some reviewers get a review code and now I can't imagine with Smash this would happen, but smaller games, like a Steam World or something like that, they sell the code online. I remember there was some company that was asking, like, please tell me I saw on Reddit, like, somebody's like, hey, I just bought a code for this game. that doesn't come out for another 2 weeks on eBay, and someone's like, please tell us what that code was. We'll let you keep the game, but we've written down which code went to which reviewer, and we want to know which one's selling this, so we can make sure they don't ever get a code again.
Oh.
So, that is a thing too. But it's like, they can't trust everybody. So if you send enough copies out, someone's going to leak it. But is that really a big deal, especially with a game like Smash?
Yeah, I mean, they've already revealed the full roster and everything. I don't know.
It's like, I don't know what there is to ruin, I guess. But whatever. Everyone's gonna buy it day one that makes a living doing reviews, and then rush that review out the door. If they're smart, they just play the Wii U one and review it.
The only way to do it.
Now it's even got even more fighters.
Yeah, it's like the Wii U one, but with a DLC pack added and spirits. Yeah, I'm not hyped for it.
None of us sound very hyped for it.
No, I bought the others. I bought the Wii U version day one, and I was not a Smash fan, but the hype was strong for that. Like, Nintendo makes a big deal out of it. But
right.
Nintendo makes a big deal out of everything, though.
Do you think that the fan hype, I mean, not in our group, but outside of our group in general, do you think the fan hype is there like it is for previous games?
Not in the core circle, because we all got it a couple years ago. This is the same game. Among kids, maybe, probably.
I just don't see people hyping it up online. I think I've almost seen more hype about Pokemon than I have.
Yeah.
I have for this.
The stuff I've seen about Pokemon has all been like, wow, I thought this was supposed to be a crappy game, and I'm enjoying it. Like, I've seen nothing but positive stuff for Pokemon outside of a few things on the controls.
Yeah, that's one problem I've heard too, is the controls.
Well, we'll see. They're gonna sell a bunch of those. People buy limited edition Nintendo stuff, so they'll sell a bunch of copies of that. And like Z said, that's one of those ones that if you're doing a must-own set, you want your Mario Kart, you want your Smash.
Yeah.
And your Mario game. I did see, I don't
And
remember
your
if it was
Zelda.
Europe. Europe was getting a Mario Odyssey bundle with red Joy-Con. With the red Mario Joy-Con.
This year?
Yeah, this year. As they're for a holiday thing. And I was thinking, like,
Only a year late.
yeah, like, I don't even remember seeing, maybe I saw this once in the US last year, but it didn't seem like there were a ton of those last year. They're really pushing these bundles out now that they figured out they can just screen print anything onto a dock, and as long as it's black and white.
People will buy it.
Yeah. Could it have really cost them that much more to just put it in color?
You wouldn't think so.
No.
They are definitely in penny pinching mode.
Yeah.
Since Wii U, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
You'd hope they'd moved on from that, but I think it's been a dry season for gamers, and it's been a dry season for Nintendo as well, I think. More so than they're willing to admit.
Yeah, they tout all these things as successes, but it's just like, well, how come no one I know has it?
Right.
Mario Tennis is such a big, huge release for them. I don't know.
Yeah, if you look at the total titles they released this year, it's about the same as last year, maybe a little more, but included in that more is the Wii U ports and 3 different versions of Labo. Like, it's just been less of the all-star titles.
Yeah. I mean, Kirby
No.
came out this year. Is that a big AAA title?
I
No.
don't think so, but
Top tier.
they saved their top two for the holiday season, basically.
Yeah. And I thought it was funny that somebody did ask that at the investor meeting. Like, so are you just going to wait for the holiday every year and do nothing the rest of the year?
So do you think they're
Yes.
going to save Animal Crossing, or is that going to be in early 2019? Like first half?
I think, I don't know, man. Summer maybe. I
Yeah,
think they'll
summer
want to
sounds right.
hype it up for 6 months or something.
I figure that'll come out next Christmas. Maybe.
Yeah, it might be.
If they do
That's
bring
what
it
I
out for
figured.
summer, what are they going to have for Christmas? What's the next big one they're going to
Yeah,
pull?
because Animal
out late
Crossing
in
is
the
a
year?
pretty huge title. I don't know.
I kind of
Guess I'll
fear
play
that that's the
play
way it'll be.
Metroid.
Yeah, I guess they might have the next Pokemon game for next Christmas, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
And then one every year after that.
Feels like it.
You were talking about this being the big time of year. Reggie did comment on that directly, and he said that October, November, and December are critically important. And according to him, 60% of revenue is generated during the holiday season. And of course, he said, why? Because Nintendo products are the perfect gifts.
Mm.
I'm sorry, I just love that little tidbit at the end.
Yeah.
Always the salesman.
Yeah, the problem is he's only talking to dedicated Nintendo fans when he says these things because nobody else is listening.
Yep.
Yeah. Nobody's mom's like, hey, I just happen to be perusing online news and it looks like this Reggie guy who works for Nintendo says that this is the perfect gift. So I think he's speaking to the fan base. Maybe he figures if he just plant that in your head, that you'll be like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to give everybody I know a Switch this year.
Well, we do have, well, there will be plenty in the US and Europe, most likely. But we've already got reports coming in from Japan saying that Switch shortages are becoming a reality. Certain online retailers, several large or good-sized ones, medium to large-sized ones, have already sold out of the gray and neon sets. It's still available at Amazon and some other retailers, but some sites are already selling out. So perhaps it will be another short year for Japan, shortage year.
I think it would be much better news if the United States was the one that was sold out.
Yes.
Since we're a much larger market.
That would be big news.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Japan's had some supply issues, but who knows? Maybe they'll save the day and come out with more.
Hope so. Hopefully, everyone anywhere in the world that wants a Switch will be able to get one. And
Yeah.
I don't foresee that being a problem, but you know how Nintendo is. Mm-hmm.
All 100 of them. No. Apparently, it's doing very well. Like I said, I keep thinking, like, how is this thing moving? Like, are these people idiots? Why would you choose Switch when there's a $200 PlayStation? But I guess it's the perfect gift for the person who already has a PlayStation or Xbox,
That's true.
I would say.
Well, we did get some interesting numbers, or rather predictions on numbers. So 8 different analysts have predicted lifetime sales of Switch for the end of the fiscal year, ending in March 2019, of course. So their prediction is that Nintendo will be able to move 35 million units for the year. So that's about short of the projected 20 million for this fiscal year, or not 35 million units for the year, but rather lifetime. And that's short of the 20 million predicted for this fiscal year by around 3 million or so.
Yeah,
I think
that's
this is
crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But
Yeah.
I know Z had said earlier, like if they're even in the ballpark, then that's probably a win for them, which I agree. But I still can't see that happening. That's a lot of units to move based on the strength of almost nothing. Unless
based on the
Pokemon
strength
and
of 2
Smash
games.
are really that. Well, 3 if you count Mario Party, everybody's favorite. It's got a decent enough back catalog now with Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and Splatoon, um, Kirby, Mario Tennis. Like there's Mario Kart. There's enough stuff that could keep somebody happy through summer if they didn't have any of them. But yeah, that seems crazy. That how many did they say? Was it 7 or 8 different analysts? You said
8 different analysts.
Yeah,
They've all
so
kind of come together and agreed on it. So
it'd be odd if they were all wrong.
yeah,
But they must know something. That has to be an educated guess based on something. So I mean, we'll see. All they have to do is get them in the stores. People don't actually have to buy them,
that's
right?
that's sad but true, probably.
As long as they make the store owners believe that this is the big thing.
You go in and all of the shelves are filled with
Yeah.
Switches.
But I do have quite a few friends that definitely did not own a Wii U, and many of them didn't own a 3DS that have a Switch. So it's got a wide appeal.
Yeah, I think they've done well on reaching more people with it, and I hope it continues to improve. If it means we get better games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to get
Yeah.
better with more stuff. But it's like, I feel like Nintendo is, like, now with the Switch has got me thinking about, like, their stable of properties. And I'm like, it's a pretty short list. Like, as far as their big heavy hitters, you got your Mario, your Zelda, Mario Kart, Smash, Pokemon stuff. But that's pretty much it as far as top tier, titles.
Do you think they could use something like a Switch Fit to diversify their appeal, like they did with the Wii, get it into, some retirement homes and things like that, where people want something that they can do just as an activity to move,
It would certainly help. I think they were expecting Labo to be that would sort of get a non-gamer interested. Although I don't think it happened. Why not both? Why
Yeah,
not
but
a Labo Fit?
that's more of a
Stuff on
puzzle
cardboard.
building type thing, whereas the other ones were more geared
That's true.
towards
Yeah,
exercise and movement.
they need to just put out Switch Sports, like a Wii
Yeah.
Sports. But
I don't know. I think back to all the times that people have brought up about why isn't the Switch UI updated? Why isn't it different? And Nintendo's response is always, we want it to be focused on the games. We want it to be primarily a gaming machine. That's why we don't have streaming services. That's why the UI is straightforward. So I don't know.
that's a good story.
It sounds nice, but at some point you got to think about what do the people want.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't move units based on what you want people to have.
Yeah.
You move on people wanting to have what you've got.
You also don't necessarily move units by coming out with another product which is the same as what they already have and like, because that's going to be the same group of people who already have Switches that it's appealing to. You want
I
something
don't
a
know.
little
Just
bit
Dance has
offset.
been doing it for years.
Well,
But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. I don't know, man. it's like I said, we'll see if I can't wait for the year end financial report in what is it, March, April,
End of March. So
when we find out
first of
what
April.
really happened. But yeah, I mean, I think they should really be looking at some of the failures like Star Fox Zero, and like, let's give it a whole makeover and make it work. It'll probably come out for 3DS.
That would be interesting.
Use the motion control and the screen. But yeah, I mean, they should do that. We need another F-Zero. Metroid's nice, but it's like those aren't going to move units as much as the heavy hitters. And I feel like we've already gotten all the heavy hitters pretty much out of the way. Even Captain Toad.
Yeah, that's the downside of launching all that stuff in the beginning is what qualifies as a heavy hitter 3 and 4 years in.
I mean, and Animal Crossing is, I guess, to some degree as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how it does, traditionally. I'm pretty sure New Leaf was the most successful one ever, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Probably. I just am amazed at how well Pocket Camp has done. So I think that shows, or hopefully it shows Nintendo that the desire is out there. But I also fear what else it will show Nintendo.
Yeah, it'll show Nintendo that crappy phone games are the way to go.
People love fortune cookies. They're willing to pay for them. Yeah.
So speaking
good.
of the possibility of games upcoming, we got some news from the Game Awards just today, in fact. And Jeff Keighley says that 10 new games will be revealed during the Game Awards next week. And in 2017, just as a reminder, we saw Bayonetta 1, 2, and 3 announced. So, and we'll also get information on existing titles, he says.
We may get Bayonetta 3 since.
Yeah, I know. So, but we may get something, and according to Game Explain, Spawn Wave, and Direct Feed, they are all saying it could be Metroid Prime 4.
That's not a new game announcement.
It could be.
That's true.
Well, I mean, that's already been announced, so that's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. We saw a logo.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's like, I mean, I was really surprised. Last year was also when they unveiled the release date. That was a pretty big thing to do at the Game Awards. So it's like, we watch it, but
apparently, I was looking at statistics, and apparently last year was the first year it was broadcast in China, and viewership went up by like a factor of 4 or 6. Yeah,
they made it very easy to watch last year because I think it was everywhere. Like you can live stream it from everything.
Yeah, they're
probably live stream it from the YouTube app this year on your Switch.
Oh,
well, they should do a jump
true.
on that. And Reggie is on the board, I believe, with the Game Awards, and Nintendo has a connection there. So,
most of the big companies are.
Yeah.
Right. Same way they really are trying to make this their official industry awards show, like the Oscars, right?
Right.
Yeah. But it's also a huge advertisement for a product.
Yeah, which is the same thing as the Oscars, right? So it's same. So obviously all the big industry players are directly involved in the events that are taking place, even if their games don't win or whatever. It's still promotion for all of them.
Yeah. It's an honor just to be nominated.
Mm-hmm. And to see the sales spike associated with said nomination.
And the ensuing Game of the Year Awards version of the game.
Yeah.
I'm sure the nominations are out. I have not seen them.
Yeah, Nintendo had quite a few, and it seemed to be a lot of the same ones in different categories.
Yeah.
Well, Nintendo had a few. They were mostly in the what did they call it? Sort of family game category, and then they had Mario Tennis also made it into the sports category or something.
Yeah, no, Nintendo's got nothing big. Nintendo's got nothing that's going to win, right? Nintendo walked away with Zelda. That was kind of everybody. Game Awards last year was basically so that Nintendo could get an award for Zelda. This year they've got nothing even comparable, you know?
Yeah.
Just as an aside here, I wasn't want to mention this, but I just remembered it. The British Academy of Film and Television Awards recently give BAFTA. Yeah, I love that acronym. Anyway, they recently awarded Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle with an award. So,
by the way, this year at the Game Awards, the only game that's on a Nintendo system even that's nominated is Celeste, which blows my mind because it's Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Celeste.
wait, is Monster Hunter World not on Switch?
No, it's on PlayStation 4 and Xbox.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, that's the big one that Switch didn't get.
But which one is different and does not belong? It's like they're all these 3D high-end graphical games, and then one of them is the little game that could, apparently. Which I know people love that game, but I have not played it. But is it really?
It's on sale on the Switch shop right now.
Yeah, is that really Game of the Year material? Like,
you hanging out with your bros, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm playing Assassin's Creed," and he's like, "Hey man, I'm playing Celeste."
This new Spider-Man's something else. You can glide around the city. You really feel like you're Spider-Man. Like, I feel like I'm really an 8-bit sprite in this Celeste game. But yeah, I mean, good for them. Congratulations.
It's got a compelling story and fun mechanics.
It's got one of those mental health.
Has a message to it,
angles. Yeah, so it's like people always play that stuff up in this day and age. A game we play is nominated for Best Ongoing Game.
That's right.
Which is funny that's such a weird category. I mean, I get it, but best game that still isn't dead after a bit of time. Yeah, I'm looking through right now. Just their.
I noticed Ninja was not in the esports category. I don't think.
Oh, poor
guy. The only one of Nintendo games that I would even consider classifying as an ongoing one would be the Splatoon 2, just because they keep rolling out the updates for it.
Yeah, and it's not there. I mean, I'm looking through here. I don't see. Best independent game: Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, which I'm not familiar with. Return of Obra Dinn, I'm not familiar with, and The Messenger. So a good portion of those are there on the Switch. But man, Mega Man 11 somehow is nominated for Best Action Game.
I was shocked to see how many categories they had for, what is it called? Online gaming, not on, but the broadcasting of games and such.
Yeah.
Best teams and things like that.
Octopath Traveler is nominated for Best Role-Playing Game, and the Best Family Game category seems to be exclusive to Nintendo for the most part. Which Starlink did get in there. But yeah, as far as at least they're honest. Somehow they threw Mario Tennis Aces in as Best Sports Game nominee. But yeah, I mean, looking through here, there's not a lot of Nintendo mentioned at all. I actually am just doing a search right now for the word Nintendo on a list of all their nominations. And that's all they've got. Octopath Traveler, Best Art Direction, Octopath Traveler, Best Role-Playing Game, and Mario Tennis Aces for Best Family Game, Nintendo Labo for Best Family Game, Super Mario Party for Best Family Game, and also Overcooked 2 and Starlink are in the Best Family Game. But that's it. Nintendo has the category that was created for them, and that's
Mhm.
it as far as actual Nintendo. I don't know what Octopath Traveler, how much, if that's just Nintendo's a publisher on that, because it is exclusive to Nintendo.
And it's not going to be lost on the audience that it's like, hey, where's Nintendo this year? Like last year, they had a game, like at least 2 games in every category. Right, it was every category had 2 or 3 Nintendo games in it. Now we got nothing.
Yeah.
Which is normal, and how it
Yeah.
usually is. But it's like Nintendo, boom, 1 year, and then back to crickets.
We got Game of the Year. That'll float us for at least another decade. They should have, if they were thinking about the awards, they should have held Odyssey back. Still surprised Assassin's Creed took that name.
It's an odd choice.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about game prices with Doom and all that stuff. I did see that Fallout 76, which skipped the Switch, has dropped to $35.
Wow.
I don't know when it came out, but it was
Someone was
not
trying
very
to pick.
long.
Yeah, no, and the reviews have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
I got a buddy of mine that's been trying to get me to get on the bandwagon. He's like, it's only $35 now. I'm like, you're not selling me by telling me that.
Yeah.
That's really making me go, oh, good. I'm glad I didn't get on the bandwagon there.
It was released on November 14th, by the way. We're recording this on the 28th, so it only took 2 weeks for the price to drop by half almost.
That was the only other game that I remember that happening with was Sonic Forces.
Yeah.
Which,
by the way, is for sale
game
in the Switch eShop right now for $20, I think, or something. Which still, or maybe it's $30 or whatever it was. It seemed like it was still too much.
It is,
but it wasn't free.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I would pick up Sonic Forces just because the kid loves Sonic. But
$10.
I want it for basically free.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so it's good that I guess that we didn't get Fallout 76. But they're gonna try to see in this world now, which is a sad thing with video games. You can put out an utter and total piece of crap like No Man's Sky, and then just patch it to being a decent game years later. So I'm pretty sure that's what they're gonna do, and eventually make it into at least a playable game.
Yeah, hopefully.
But there used to be a time when you would ship a game and it was done.
Yeah, no patching.
But now there's pressure. I'm
because
sure
you couldn't.
Pressured. You got to get it out in time for Christmas. Yeah, because you couldn't patch it.
Yeah, it was like there was just a different mindset. It had to be right going out the door. If you went out the door and there was something screwed up, it was a nightmare.
It's like that famous quote by Miyamoto is no longer true. And he would say, what did he say? A delayed game is eventually good, but a bad game is bad forever.
Yeah.
Or something, I'm paraphrasing, but
not
true anymore.
Yeah. A bad game can eventually be made good.
Yeah.
I mean, that said, though, it really does hurt a game's reputation. Like,
oh yeah.
Like I think, the sales of the next Assassin's Creed Odyssey were not as solid as they would have been if the previous one had been a good game.
I typed in Fallout 76 on Google and it spits out 46% liked this video game.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where that's a huge, that I would say that's, I don't know if that or Skyrim would be their their main thing. But I think more people probably play Fallout than Skyrim. Even I don't know. I could be
Yeah.
wrong. Skyrim is huge and was.
They
Huge.
certainly have advertised Fallout enough. It seems like every time I go to watch a video or something, it comes up.
Yeah. So that's bad news for them to put that out. But I just thought that was interesting that that price dropped, and but Bethesda's been talking about how they're gonna make some changes to it and do some bug fixes, and they're gonna make it a decent game eventually. Nintendo would never do that, by the way. I mean, one, they probably would never put out a really horrible game as far as technically.
Yeah, we hope.
But if they did, they would never apologize for it.
I remember it was a big deal when they patched. I don't remember.
Metroid.
I guess it was Mario Kart on the 3DS. I think was the first time they patched something, at least on the 3DS.
Yeah.
They'd done a couple patches on Wii, but that was still a super rare, oddball, occurrence out of them.
I think
I
we
will
talked
say
about that before with Metroid, that you had to send in your
that's right.
memory card to them, and they would patch it on the card and send it back to you. But now everything's got a day one patch.
Yeah, going back to that first topic, that was one of their early patches too on the Wii, was with Skyward Sword. They had to patch something would get locked if you did the dragon challenges in the wrong order or something like that. It would lock your save file or something, freeze up, couldn't progress.
Which will affect video game progression or preservation in the future, where with a Nintendo or Super Nintendo or whatever, you buy that on eBay and you've got that game. Now, even with a physical version of Breath of the Wild, you buy it 20 years from now. If the servers aren't up to get the update, you're going to have choppy frame rates and stuff like that.
True. That said,
Mario Odyssey wouldn't have a balloon world.
I think they'd still all be pretty playable.
Yeah, I would say
Zelda, I know what you mean. There'll be glitches and bugs and whatever, and that's just the nature of things these days. But I still, at least at this point, Nintendo is still on that mindset of a finished game is a finished game. So
they've done a great job amongst all the publishers.
Non-updated. But then they're also the ones that tell us a new Zelda's coming out for 5 years, and
was it only 5?
Takes an entire. It may have been longer, yeah.
Yeah, but good for them. I mean, but when it did come out, holy crap! What a game!
Yeah,
they should throw that one in with the Switch. Bundle that.
But yeah, they'll get to it eventually.
I hope so.
With gold Joy-Cons, finally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't seen that yet. It's like it almost seems like Nintendo's forgotten about Breath of the Wild. Even
seems like they've kind of forgotten about the Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from Reggie coming out and giving it lip service every so often, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Dropping ports.
There's thousands of games. Yeah, we haven't even had really a port in a while. It's just all about that build-up. I don't know. You've been playing a little bit of Mario Party, right?
Yeah, I mean it's good for local multiplayer.
What won Thanksgiving this year?
The kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people didn't. We didn't really play anything this year. A lot of people didn't show up, and yeah, it ended up being kind of a bum year for the games.
Oh, see, Nintendo, you blew it.
They did. If Smash had been out a week or two prior, that might have motivated some people. No one was really motivated to play anything. There's nothing new and exciting out to play. Mario Party's all right, but it's not enough of a draw. to gather
Yeah.
people around the TV.
I feel like Mario Party is one that would be great if you're all just having drinks at a actual party, or maybe not a party, but a gathering of some friends.
A Switch party.
A Switch party where you make them touch and put them together, all on the kitchen table.
Still haven't done it yet
One stupid
because
thing.
nobody else I know has a copy of Mario Party.
Yeah. But it's one of the fastest selling Mario parties of all time.
I don't know how the hell that's possible.
It's only a matter of time.
Like, I don't know. I mean, looking at console numbers and how many Super Nintendos or Nintendo 64s were out there at the time. Like, I guess it's the fastest selling Mario Party, but compared to what?
Fastest
2
selling
is
because
one of the top 2 best-selling Bayonetta games of all time.
Yeah,
it's the fastest selling Mario Party of all time because it was selling on eBay before it was released.
Oh, maybe they're counting those too.
It'll, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's sort of okay. I have seen some stuff on Reddit of somebody saying that there's some bugs and glitches in it that need to be fixed.
Somebody who's obviously played way more than me, because I haven't really noted any.
I had any issues, yeah. They're like, I can't believe they still haven't patched this game. It's like they're too busy riding the success wave on it.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, right? It's really does feel like here's our big marketing blitz, and then since the console, like it's like they had all this stuff in the pipe before the console launched, and it seems like as soon as they launched the console, it's like, all right, folks, let's go home.
I think maybe if they really just got these games, they probably should have went a little harder on reminding you what's already out there.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of. I don't know. I don't know how much money they're spending on promotion. I guess I don't watch a lot of media, but I haven't seen any commercials or anything.
I see them more regularly than I have in a long time.
Oh yeah,
that's a nice thing for them about Smash too, because it's got all these characters from all these other games. It sort of does remind you of the other games. It's sort of a marketing piece in itself.
Yeah, Smash is exactly that. Agreed. Any sort of here's our Nintendo character collection is like, Disney does the same thing. When they put out a Disney princesses yada yada, they're just trying to get you to buy all the other movies that those princesses are from.
Fools, I've already got them all.
Speaking of getting them all, there's a topic we haven't talked about in a while now, and that is Splatoon 2. And we've got word on the December update coming out the 5th, version 4.3.0. So the interesting thing about this is pretty late in the game, but they're adding 2 new abilities to the game. First off, they're combining Bomb Defense Up and Cold Blooded to be Bomb Defense Up DX. And it's going to be sort of retroactive. It's going to go back and change any drink tickets or chunks or any gear that you already own with those abilities on it and put them together. And the other is they're adding a main power-up, which is a bit different than the probably the power-up that we're thinking of from Splatoon 1, and where the effect is going to vary by weapon. So those are kind of exciting things. Big changes for if you still play Splatoon 2.
If you still play Splatoon, yeah. And for the 3 people playing it competitively. I see people occasionally in it, but I think a lot of people are probably just playing Splatfest. Unless it's new to you. Then there's still probably some life in it. If you're just getting a Switch this Christmas, there's plenty of fun to be had with Splatoon 2.
That's right.
I would agree. I think it's got a life to it, especially among the younger set, that they can keep going for the life of the console. But it didn't blow up the way they obviously hoped it would. And I think a lot of it was, in my opinion, a lot of it was the archaic kludgy online interface holding it back. Again, I mean, since 2 console generations ago, the big boy consoles have had, the option in most games that you can see a game that your friend is playing online, send them some kind of notification, hey, I'd like to join you in your game, and then you just drop into their game and go. And there's nothing like that on Switch still. Nintendo just seems incapable of doing that. I was hoping some functionality like that would come along with the online service. But right, that was like one of the big selling points of the Xbox Live with the 360 generation, was that most of the games supported that, or at least all the big ones. Right, all the shooters, you could just drop into your buddy's game and go. And there's still, like, Splatoon is a fucking nightmare to join your friends for anything. You have to use a fucking phone to do it, basically. Right, it's that to me screwed Splatoon. I think that prevented Splatoon from becoming like a top tier Nintendo IP. I think it's been relegated to second string because of just the very piss poor handling of the online. It just pisses me off that they repeatedly shoot themselves in the foot, and they just seem like it's like Japan's cybersecurity minister. Nintendo feels like it's populated with those kind of people. Well, I don't really know anything about the technology. I just read shit, in front of a teleprompter. Like that's my job. Like I feel like there's in Nintendo, there's a lot of designers and a lot of people that say, "Oh, this is how this game should be," and there's not actually a lot of technical people to do the actual programming and the actual work. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of artists or whatever, and then they just farm out all the actual work to elsewhere. And if they actually had technical people in house, they would understand what the fuck they're supposed to be doing in regards to an online service, because they obviously don't. It's maddening that it's been this long since we paid $20, and we see shit. We see jack shit out of the $20 that we spent on them. I mean, I don't. Nintendo games do not fucking count. I'm expecting actual online services, and I got what? Fucking YouTube? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. And I honestly, as much as I'd like to play whatever with you guys online, if this is what I'm paying $20 for, I'm not paying it again.
Do you have to have the online to use YouTube?
I don't think so.
I bet not. So you could still, we could still be playing Fortnite and watching YouTube without it. Although I do think Risk requires an online subscription.
In terms of just how they've handled this for Splatoon franchise, their ongoing Splatfests to keep, the interest going, because that's mainly, after a while, what basically we just go back for, is those things and a little bit of the rewards for the Salmon Run now. But with the first one, they basically planned on a year of Splatfest and ended up extending it to 18 months, as I recall. And this one, they've basically got it planned out for 2 years. That, it's great that they kept it going a little longer, but if this is a franchise they want to continue with, I don't stopping it after.
Would you? I know Barry is
2 years.
I know Barry takes part in a Splatfest, as I do. Would you have been sad if, and during a recent announcement, they did confirm again that Splatfest will go on until July of next year. Would you have been sad if they ended in December?
Well, yeah, I would have. I'd like to see them keep going. Maybe not in quite the same format, but in some way longer than that.
Yeah, I would think
some they want to wrap it up after just 2 years.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty short window to me. I would think regular events for the lifetime of the console should not require. I mean, you know what I mean? It's how much effort does that take to pick 2 subjects for a Splatfest? They've obviously been through the process many times. It's not complicated. They could keep these things running for the lifetime of the console.
If they really wanted to engage the user base, they could have a poll on their Twitter, or on Facebook, or whatever else. Instagram.
Oh yeah, they are definitely missing opportunities to play this up more.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you don't want to
Increase
let people right
rivalry.
in, but
Right, I mean,
Shrek versus Goku.
It's the same thing with ARMS, right? ARMS just came and went without so much as a whimper. And Splatoon, and even to a lesser degree, the other titles, man. I didn't hear much buzz about Mario Party. I mean, again, Mario Party was a mess because it should have had online functionality and didn't. But I guess they did do a lot of buzz with the tennis, which who the hell cares?
There's one There's one thing you can play on there on Mario Party that's online.
Yeah, the stupid mini game thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Like a board game is something really taxing for an online connection.
And if you bought Rocket League on Switch, you need the online to play that. I do think some of that.
You do now? I forgot.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you have to have that.
Unless you want to do the little practice sessions, like you could probably do that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, to play it online. But it is interesting how, like, I feel like Nintendo's wheeling and dealing behind the scenes. You know, Ubisoft makes Risk and Monopoly and stuff like that, and that stuff requires you to have it. We know the Pinball FX was like, we don't want it to require it, so they had that deactivated. They must have had a deal with Rocket League that, make it require the service. Sure, why not? But Fortnite opted out. So there's no real rhyme or reason as to why some things require the online service and some do not.
Just whoever paid what, or whoever had more clout.
But yeah, I wonder, does Nintendo pay Rocket League to require the online service?
They might. I mean, here's the way I would assume.
Give them a bigger percentage of sales or something.
Or, well, the only logical thing to me would be is if Rocket League is using Nintendo's backbone or not for the online play.
They're not.
Then this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's Rocket League and Fortnite both use their own servers.
So then, it makes zero sense other than they paid off, Nintendo paid them some amount of money.
That's what I wonder. If Nintendo's like, when we sell one of your games, our cut is 30% or 40%, and
maybe they give them a higher percentage.
Percentage, yeah. If you require the online, there has to be some sort of incentive to do it.
Yeah, I don't. Otherwise, I mean, it would make no sense. It hurts Psyonix, right? It hurts sales of Rocket League to do it. So if they're using their own backbone, there's no reason, unless the other reason is they just want to limit Switch players.
Yeah.
They don't want so many casual idiots.
Let's get these horrible players out. But no, I feel like with Fortnite and Rocket League both, it's probably a thing where, on average, most players probably are in for 6 months or less and then rotate out to another game. So,
except for the core hardcore group.
Yeah. Like Barry.
I don't know. No, I wouldn't consider myself hardcore though. I like the game. I tried the last pass and I've enjoyed it. But it's honestly a little bit more playing than I like. I like to just drop in once in a while and have a couple matches. And I've enjoyed that for the whole year when they had their seasonal events and stuff. That was a bigger draw for me than the pass was.
Yeah. Well, that's what's great about these passes. That's the whole idea, is to get you addicted. Get you playing every day, get you engaging with their product.
Easy, Reggie.
The problem is, your life can only really support one of these games at a time.
That's true.
It's like if you want to get everything you can get in Fortnite, well, you're probably not going to get everything you want to get in Rocket League 2, or whatever the other half a dozen other games that have these ongoing pass things. Yeah, I don't know.
You can
You gonna get the
drop
next
in
Rocket
once a
Pass?
month, though. I'll see what's in it, but I'm leaning towards no at this time.
Yeah. Well, you're a Rocket Pass OG. You got the first stuff. Did we have anything else tonight?
That's it. It's time for us to wrap
it.
up once again.
All
So, all right.
Get out there and consume, everybody. 'Tis the season.
That's right. Next episode will be coming to you in December, believe it or not. Seems a little strange.
You've still got like a week that you can pre-order Smash.
Yeah, that's true.
Nintendo's dropping the bomb on Pearl Harbor Day, which I still think is weird.
They
It
always
is
pick
weird.
weird release dates.
I mean,
Insensitive
sure.
release dates.
To them, it was just a Friday.
Alrighty. Well, as always, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to get in touch with us, send us some questions or comments. You can hit us up on Twitter at @NOA_podcast. As always, you can listen on Stitcher and iTunes, as well as check out our live stream on Twitch and maybe some unusual games as well. Z has been putting some good stuff up for us. So thanks for watching and have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Party out, folks.
Good night.
We're off.